Hello, brothers and sisters, and ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk to you today about PTSD. And for those of you who don't know too much about it, PTSD is a sickness and a disability, and it comes from many different things. A lot of people stereotype it and try to tie it into the military only, but it really can be a combination of things. It could be depression, or it could be uh, something traumatizing in their life, or it could be about something that they have gone through as a family, or it could be about poverty, or it could be about a relationship that didn't work out, or it could be about alcoholism. It could be so many things. Drug use, eating disorder. I mean, PTSD is what it is, post-traumatic stress disorder. And in my case, I was in the military, and I think the thing that bothers me the most is all my military brothers and sisters that are out there that are homeless or don't know what benefits they have that are available to them, or that don't have a place to live, or a place to shower, or a place to get a meal, or a way to make an income for 1 hour, 2 hours, a day, a week, whatever it may be that can benefit their life. Some of us who have PTSD, especially on the military side, can't keep a job because, it could be our temperament, or it could be something that messes with our deprivation of sleep. When you're deprived sleep, many things can happen to a person. It can just be so much. And how people perceive it, there are so many bad rumors out there, bad information, just different things that shouldn't be. And to be honest with you, it is a serious disability. It really is. It keeps us from keeping a good job, a steady job. A lot of times it keeps us from having that perfect relationship, that perfect marriage, that beautiful family, uh, you know, 2+ kids, the white fence, the nice house, the nice car. I mean, so many things it keeps us from at times. And how many of our brothers and sisters, it's cost them their lives because they couldn't take it, because it drove them into a deep depression, or because they just couldn't cope, or sometimes PTSD is something that keeps individuals from getting benefit of life in certain ways that others can't or can. Can't qualify for certain programs. Can't be in a certain environment because who knows what the trigger could be. It could be a sound in the air. If you're too close to a daycare, it could be a sound that, triggers what you have. Or it could be a yelling of a voice, or it could be dark, loud noises from a car or a truck or a siren, or who knows. Uh, some type of a gun firing, or, some type of fireworks show. So many things can trigger things like PTSD. Is that the only thing out here that's a really big problem that we're dealing with in society? Of course not. There are many. But I would like to touch on PTSD because, for my experience, it has been a roller coaster. I've started out with medication. I've had to raise that medication twice now already. Do I feel like that's the end? I don't think so. I don't think there is a solution. I think that management of it is an experiment. It's some things work, some things don't. Some things benefit, some things won't. It just depends. I don't think anything is easy. I think that everything is comes in time. I don't think you can put on uh, 10 windows and call yourself a window installer. But I think if you put on 10,000, we might call you a window man or woman. Does that make sense? So in other words, we don't just put a title on something because it happened once or twice. It's something that we have to repeat over and over to earn that title. Somebody who wants to be known for being a craftsman who works with wood, he can't just whittle a little whistle and call himself a craftsman. He might have to make actual furniture, or he may have to go out here and create some type of a design on a log home, or make some type of ornaments that hang that are wood, or carve something out of wood that really makes a big difference in people's attention span. Their eyes, they see it, they feel it, they touch it. You know what I mean? It could be many things. But also, PTSD can also be something, what I want to say, is something that is manageable other than medication. Sometimes it's about the type of people we're around. It's about choices that we make. It's about decisions that we make. We don't have to be in an environment that makes us violent or extreme. We don't have to be around people who trigger our disability or cause us to, in some way, provoke us to violence or something worse. Things that are happening in the schools, all the different gun violations that are going on, and the different weapons that get found at different sites, crime scenes. Weapons are at the root of so many things. It could be bombs. It could be toxic chemicals. It could be, human beings in a group. It could be singles. It could be doubles. It could be three people at a time. It could be so many things. People have used their vehicle to cause problems. So, I mean, there are many things that can happen. And a lot of the times, the peoples who are having those issues don't necessarily always know what they're doing. Sometimes the trigger hits them and they go blank. When they come out of it, well, what happened? What did I do? What was I involved in? Why am I here? It is something that is not always controllable, but I would have to say that it can be, in most cases, managed in some way, but all cases are different. You may get one person who, no matter what you give them, it doesn't seem as though they're able to control their anger, let's say. Then there are other people who can control their anger to a certain extent, but at certain times they can't do that either. They just, at the slightest thing, become angered. And then there are some guys and gals who don't show any signs of it, and they bottle it up inside. And over time, that bottle becomes full, and off pops the lid. And now we have a real problem, a real situation. Something that probably could have been eliminated in some type of meeting, some type of counseling session, or just somebody listening to our problems. A lot of times we want to talk to someone, but there's no one to talk to. Or have you ever been somewhere and, oh, I'm sorry, but Mr. Jones will be back in a week? Well, to be honest with you, I can't tell you in a week that I'm going to have an episode or a trigger. So I can't schedule to see that gentleman at that time. Or maybe so-and-so's on vacation for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Can you come back at this time? Well, sure I can, but will I? Can I afford to wait 3 weeks? Will I remember to come back in 3 weeks? Will I be able to come back in 3 weeks? Will I be alive in 3 weeks? PTSD, ladies and gentlemen, takes lives, ruins lives, affects lives. It's a reality. It's real. It's so serious and so relevant. But a lot of people don't see it in that manner. Oh, he's claiming he has PTSD because he doesn't want to do his assignment. Or he claims he's got PTSD because he doesn't want to work in that department. He claims he's got PTSD because Mary won't go out with him. Or because Judy won't go to the dance. Or because he can't have a job that pays better than the one he has. So he says he has PTSD. I mean, I've heard all the different stories and the different scenarios. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, PTSD is serious. It's real. It's the truth. The truth will set you free. I know you've heard that before. Let me tell you, the truth will set you free. But can you completely get away from the truth? That's the question. You know, there's so many things that go on in the mind, and not all of them are controllable. When we talk about things like Depakote, that's in the brain, you know, do we get enough of it? Is there enough of it? Different things control different parts of the brain, of the neurological system. Are we able to control what we do and say? Are there different things that affect what we do and say? Of course there are. You know, a trigger can be just as much as a person and the color that they're wearing. Maybe it's orange. And maybe orange is something that immediately bothers it, who we are, what we are, and triggers something. Could it be a cigarette? Somebody smoking? Could it be somebody having an altercation? It could just be kidding around, but it looks as though one person is picking on the other or they're involved in a confrontation. But really they're not mad at each other. This could be something that would cause a trigger. It could be so many things. And for me, PTSD is a learning experience, and it's something that happens unexpected. It has different effects on me. It affects the way that I sleep. It affects the way that I eat. It affects the way that I act. It affects the decisions that I make. It affects the choices that I have made and will make. It affects so many things in my life. It's very much a big, big part of my life. I mean, 90% of my life revolves around PTSD. It's a sad thing, but it's true. You know, I love somebody and I definitely want a life with them, but because of PTSD, can I have that happiness? Can I have what other people have? I don't know. I don't know if I can. How many of our brothers and sisters in arms are suffering from PTSD? Thousands. Thousands upon thousands. And how many of those realize that there are resources out here that could help them or could help manage that problem? Many do not know. They're not aware. That's why it's so important. If you have the time and the resources and the physical capacity to be an advocate for somebody with PTSD, I really urge you to do so. Because not being aware is basically just like killing somebody slowly. Because you're causing them anguish, pain, health issues, mental issues, sometimes their life. Everybody needs to know. Awareness. Awareness is such a big deal. PTSD is something that everyone needs to be aware of. Consumers, siblings, friends, cousins, distant relatives, strangers, anyone who is involved with any parts of our daily lives needs to have an education about PTSD because it's everywhere. We deal with it in the grocery store. We deal with it on the road. Road rage has a lot to do with PTSD. Is a person with PTSD more dangerous than a person that does not have it? Depends on the individual. Depends on the situation. There are many factors. Is there a weapon? Do they have access to something that can hurt someone? Will they use their vehicle as a weapon? Are they capable of controlling those feelings, those triggers, those unforeseen things that happen and that can always, just in a flash, make a difference in somebody's life? PTSD is not something that we're going to be able to resolve in one session or one conversation. You know, it takes years to realize you have it. It takes years to realize what to do about it. Some things are still unknown. We don't know exactly what all triggers and what causes them. We don't know all medication that can help or hinder progress with PTSD. Learning disabilities. We don't know how much of this is a cause of that, or if it helps accelerate our thoughts in any way, slows us down in any way. I've heard of people who have too much energy because of PTSD. I've heard of people who don't have enough. I've heard of those who can get no sleep, like myself, or who can get 1 hour or 2 hours, or lucky to get maybe 3 tops. Does the body function well on such a small amount? I don't think so. I don't think that's good for anyone. Are there certain foods that can trigger something? Can that be a trigger? It most certainly can. A certain comment that happens to get made, can that be a trigger? Well, of course it can. Our brothers and sisters at the border, all they want is a better life. Can they be singled out and their triggers ignored? Should they be treated as though they don't belong? I don't think so. I think anybody trying to have a better life, going to a better place, deserves a chance. Should there be qualifications or certain requirements to be able to get into that area? Of course. But should they be penalized for wanting that life? I don't think so. You know, when I was a contractor years ago, it's kind of funny that I would go into a homeless shelter, different homeless shelters actually, and I would say, does anybody want to work this morning? Nobody would raise their hand. I paid more than anybody that came in there in the mornings. I paid the same day. I paid in cash. And a lot of times I gave more than I promised. But nobody raised their hand. And the majority of the folks in the room were just normal brothers and sisters that didn't have a home or had problems at home, just needed to get out and be somewhere where they could think and feel safe. So that's why they're there. Don't they deserve to work if they can? Certainly. But if they choose, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, we're back to choices. If they choose not to work, or not to go with us for the day, or for the week, or for however long the job takes, or if they choose not to help themselves, that doesn't necessarily mean they don't want to work. Could they not have PTSD? Could they not have narcolepsy? Could they not have alcoholism? Could they not have a drug addiction of some kind? Could they not be depressed? Could they not just come from a breakup? We don't know what's troubling our brothers and sisters. Should we be quick to judge? Should we be quick to point them out? Should we make jokes of it? Should we mistreat them in the workplace? I don't think so. But I will tell you this also, brothers and sisters. When I was that contractor, and when I did ask who wanted to work in different places around in the states that I have been in, I've got to tell you that all of the different cultures and all of the different nationalities all had faults, had very good abilities, all had assets about them, all had negative things about them. I mean, it went both ways. Nothing was cut and dried. You couldn't judge any book by its cover. Did I learn things from people who I felt had these disabilities or had these certain things in their life that were tormenting them, or that would keep them from not doing a good day's work, or that would make them not so dependable, or that would make them with a lot more energy than the next guy? Or did I judge them and think that that made a difference? No. And I learned a lot from people, so many different kinds of people. You know, I was very critical in my younger years. In fact, I would say I was cocky. And did I treat everybody with the utmost respect? I did not. Did I look out for the senior citizens in the community? Did I stop and do things for them that they could not do? Was I always looking to be helpful? Did I show respect to most any adult? Did I control my language? Was I respectful to my teachers? Did I always get my assignments done? Did I have behavioral issues? You know, so many questions are unanswered about so many people. We don't know. But for my benefit, I had a lot of those problems, ladies and gentlemen. Brothers and sisters, I had problems. I had to overcome them. Nobody's perfect. And so I would have to say, because we're all God's children, we all need to get along. We all need to be aware. We all need to be respectful. And we all need to do research. And we all need to educate each other so that others can get help if they need it, or direction, or questions answered, or we can learn from each other. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a real world that we live in. Disability is a true thing. PTSD is the truth. There are so many disabilities that are the truth. But can we help each other? Yes, we can, and that is the truth. Can we hurt each other? Yes, we can, and that is the truth. But let's table it for this week. I'm glad that we were able to open up the subject. There are so many things I want to talk about. I would love to hear what you folks out here who either are a victim of PTSD or any other illnesses or disabilities, or if you're someone who isn't a victim, but you're somebody who ridicules those who are a victim, or that just don't understand about those of us who have it, or a disability, call in. Let's talk about it. Maybe we can answer some questions. Maybe we can raise some positive thoughts that might change your opinion about some of us, or about our disease, or about our shortcomings, or whatever it may be. And let's always keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Heavenly Father made us all with imperfection. And how we handle that imperfection builds our character, and that's what we're made of, and that's what makes us who we are. And I had a really good mentor for over 25 years. And I had a very good preacher in my life for over 35 years. So, believe me, between my preacher, pastor, however you want to call it, and all the different interaction that I have had with so many different types of people, and so many different disabilities, and so many good people, bad people, it takes all kinds to make the world go round. And there are different situations that require different types of people. Good, bad, and indifferent. So until next week, I'll try to be around between 6 and 6:30 p.m. next Sunday. And hopefully we can talk about PTSD and other things that are affecting our lives and others. Please subscribe to our channel. Don't be afraid. All questions are welcome. Short, long, middle, doesn't make any difference. We're glad to talk to everybody. Don't you know that knowledge is power? That's why you want to tune in to the truth. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.